Hello, this is Paul in Perth. Welcome to Cancer Update 35. It is the 22nd of July 2023. And the reason I'm sitting over to one side is I'm about to pop some stuff up on this side of the screen here. So don't adjust your sets. I've done this quite deliberately. I'm going to very briefly go through my day, my last 24 hours, but then I'm going to go and talk about three other sets of people, all of which have YouTube channels and all of which need to be talked more about than me. So in terms of my day, I got that engine out of the Mazda, no problem at all. It's been sold, picked up, it's gone, no problem. Okay, that is the end of my update. Now I want to talk about other people. Firstly, I want to talk about the needy homesteader. Thank you very much for your video this morning with your prayer circle. I know we've never met, but it makes me feel like we're really close, and that you get it, and that you care, and that you are feeling my pain. So thank you for that. I do really appreciate it, and please don't stop praying for me. I do really appreciate that. So thank you. The second other YouTube channel I want to talk about is the POG Family YouTube channel. You would be aware by now that Sarah POG is terminally ill. She started off with a melanoma in the side of her neck. However, this has now progressed to her brain, and Sarah is in a very bad way. She's not at all well. Please go to her website and you'll be able to get an update there. But she's not well. Just to let you know, I have now made personal contact with Jared POG and Josh POG, and to a lesser degree, Braden POG. So we have connected on a personal level, and we are talking about working together in the future on effectively missions of kindness. Kindness is the backbone of the POG channel ethos, or almost like their mission statement. And although I've never had it as a mission statement or what have you, in one of my updates I did say, if I'm remembered for anything, I want to be remembered for two things, and that is to be remembered as being interesting and to be remembered as being kind. And I said that before I knew that the POG family had it in their ethos. So that was purely from me. And as it's turned out, the POG family and the Paul in Perth family, of one in this case, do have similar feelings on what it means to be kind and how important it is to be kind. So please do get over to the POG family website, YouTube channel, and show them a ton of love. They need it right now. Sarah is not in a good way. They need your love, okay? Your love and your kindness. Please give it to them. And don't be afraid to head over to the needy homesteader and send her some love and support too. She is obviously quite upset at the moment with everything she is seeing around her. She's very clearly an empath, so empaths feel the pain of others, and she is clearly an empath. So she is in pain. So please get onto her channel as well and send her lots and lots of love. The third YouTube channel I want to talk about today is Jenny Apple's YouTube channel. There's also the Kyle Apple YouTube channel as well. So I'm going to assume that you're already familiar with who those people are, but if not, it's very easy for you to work out. It's just Jenny Apple. Type it into the search bar. Jenny has, in the last 24 hours, been diagnosed as terminally ill. In a sad parallel to Sarah POG, Jenny Apple's cancer has made it into her brain as well, which is what's happened with Sarah. And Jenny has less than a year to live. So her life is now measured in months rather than years. And in her most recent video, she asked for a to-do list of things to do when you become terminal. And my terminal diagnosis was about 3 months ago, and I have already started making a to-do list. It's not finalised, but I've got 14 bullet points here that I'm going to go through. And Jenny and Kyle Apple, this list is for you. I'm making this video for you because you asked for a list, and I was a fair way to having a list. And I'm gonna give you my list as it exists right now. I do not believe it is exhaustive, but I believe there is enough on there for you to get started. And once you've got started, I think you are going to work out what those extra things are. So effectively, I feel like I've got the right start for you, and I think it's a strong start. So let me just pop up next to me here what that to-do list is. So I'm going to go through each of these in terms, but just to read them out. The first one is wills. So make sure you've got one, make sure it's valid, and make sure it's been lodged somewhere. Second, the advanced care directive or power of attorney, or whatever that legal instrument is called in your part of the world. For Jenny, I believe you live in California, so you need to fill out one of those forms. And for those of you that don't know, what an advanced care directive or a power of attorney does is it means that should this person lose the ability to make conscious, well thought out decisions, then someone else has the legal right to make that decision for them, and in their place. So should Jenny become unconscious, but something needs to be decided on her behalf, then the power of attorney legal instrument would allow that to occur. So that's that one. The third one is to wind down the digital presence. So I'll just let me grab my laptop because I've actually done some stuff. I usually don't plan my video logs, but today I really am. Okay, so I'll just pop up here the detailed slide for winding down your digital presence. And this is from my own experience. This is what I have actually done. List out all the websites that you have a username and password to in a table. In the second column, rate this website as one of the following. Either no longer needed. So for example, Pinterest. Okay, I got a Pinterest account a while ago when I was looking at renovating one of my bathrooms. The interior designer wanted a place to put different pictures up and work out whether I wanted to design my bathroom like this or that. And we used Pinterest for that. At the end of that engagement though, I haven't used Pinterest again since. So I don't need it. And because I know that I'm terminal, and because I know when I get to that really final stage, I'm going to be super busy, that's an example of a website that I can just let go right now. Worst case scenario, I can open it up again. But what I would say is I'm going to wind that one down now. And the category for that, I would say, is no longer needed or immediately can be closed. The second category is needed until close to the end. So let's assume you've got at least a few days prior notice of your passing. Then indicate how close to the dates your membership should be retained. So for example, a Netflix account. So you don't want to keep paying your Netflix bill after you've passed, but you might want it up until the day before you pass, for example. So just have it noted, I do have a Netflix account and that needs to be closed down a day or two before I pass, or if you've lost any desire for Netflix, then do it now, whatever. But there will certainly be some that need to be closed close to the time, but not now, because you do still have some need for it. The third type I've got here is retain until the estate is finalised. So for example, a bank account or a share portfolio account or something like that, you certainly do need to retain it now, and your estate will need to go through the final process of clearing that account out or closing the account effectively. But you probably need that to persist until your estate has been processed, until you've got probate and your inheritance has all been sorted out and whatever. The fourth type I've got here is retain in perpetuity. So the big one that I had for my list was YouTube. So I've gone to a lot of effort to make all of these videos. I believe they are informative and helpful, and I believe they'll be informative and helpful after my passing. So in the case of YouTube, I will not be closing this account after I've passed away, because I want it to stay as a video journal of my journey with cancer. And if that helps someone else down the track, then I see that as a really good thing. So YouTube is one I'm going to retain in perpetuity. And then in the third column of your table, indicate the status. So for example, I closed this on the 8th of August, right? Or some of them, they don't allow you to close them straight away. What they say is, your account is now deactivated. You can reactivate it in the next 30 days, but after 30 days, it will be deleted. So just little things like that, just note them out, okay? That's number 3. Number 4 is to set legacy accounts where available. So for example, Facebook allows users to nominate a legacy account holder so that when the user passes away, the legacy account holder can request to have the deceased person's account either deleted or marked as being in memoriam. I'm also aware that Ancestry.com has a similar feature for the DNA part of an ancestry profile. Now, the reason I know those two things exist is my sister Carolyn has been set as my Ancestry.com DNA profile administrator. And my best ex-girlfriend ever, Caroline, has been set as my Facebook legacy account holder. So for both of those two accounts, I know that after I pass away, there is already an admin process in place to allow those websites to go to into their correct state, okay? So that's number 4. Number 5 is usernames and passwords. And I suggest to you that you write them down on paper, because paper can be secured. Online files can't be secured. And by online, it could just be that it's on your phone, but your phone can get hacked, your laptop can get hacked. That's quite a dangerous place to have all your usernames and passwords listed out. I think it's much safer that, for example, it would be usernames and passwords in the same envelope as your will, stored in a safe deposit box, okay? Because then you know they do exist, but they're in a very safe place that they're not going to get found, and they're not online, so they won't get hacked, okay? So that's usernames and passwords. Number 6 is codes. So there are a number of codes in your life that you may not have ever stopped to think that actually someone else might need this code one day. So for example, there will be a PIN code to your phone. There could be a PIN code to your laptop or laptops. There is definitely a PIN code to your ATM card. There might also be a combination to a safe, or a combination to one of those padlocks that you sometimes put on your push bike. And there could be a combination to the home security system. So there's a number of PIN codes that it's helpful if your next of kin, Jenny in your case, that would be Kyle, knows all of those numbers. Okay, so if you haven't written them down for Kyle yet, I suggest that you do. The 7th one is accessing sources of wealth. So when you pass away, your will is going to dictate what happens to your sources of wealth. And your executor is going to need to know how to get to those sources of wealth. So my advice to you is to document somewhere the bank account details, the locations of title deeds to properties, the location of any cryptocurrency wallets, the stock market trading platform details, so that would be a username and password, for example, and the location of any other physical valuable items such as gold bullion or art or what have you. You need to let the executor of your will know where those things are, because if you just say, please give the gold bullion to Kyle, but Kyle doesn't know where the gold bullion is, no one else does, then that could be quite a moment of frustration. So let's not fall for that. Number 8 is electronic sources of truth. Now, I'm going through this process already. I'm probably 90% through this one. My advice to you is to buy a 2 to 3 terabyte external hard drive. So buy a desktop hard drive in a desktop caddy that you can then plug in through the USB port, and collect up all of your digital footprint and put it into one place. So for example, you might have 4 old hard drives that you've kept because you're thinking, oh, there's some really cool photos on there that I might need one day, or that's where my old tax records are. Well, that's great, except for 2 things. One is, you might be the only person that knows that that hard drive there has that information on it, right? Number 2, you might be the only person that knows where the hard drive is, or anything like that. The other thing is old DVD backups. So if you're like me, you've backed up your data several times and you've put them onto DVDs. Now I have those, but it would be a lot better if I put them into one single source of truth on a USB hard drive. So please do that. I also want to point out that if your family is the same as my family, I no longer have a computer with a DVD hard drive in it anymore. So even though I've got the backups, I actually have no way to read it. I would have to procure an old laptop with a DVD reader, read that data, and then put that into my source of truth. Now, if that sounds hard for you, imagine how hard it is for your significant other to do it after you've passed away, when they don't even know that there is a DVD that has that information, right? That's an impossible task. So what I suggest to you is you find those old DVDs now, and you find a way to get them onto a USB hard drive and into one single source of truth to make that digital footprint of you be easy to manage after your passing. So you've got old hard drives, you've got old DVD backups, you've got the photos in your current phone and any previous phone. So are you happy for those photos to disappear, or do you want them to be in a folder for your loved ones to have after your passing? So if you want them to be retained after your passing, you need to get them off your phone and into this digital source of truth at least. You know, you can do a copy instead of a merge, but one way or the other, get it there, okay? Other things you'd want to think about are photos, tax records, correspondence, email mailboxes, which in Microsoft land is called a PST. I'm not sure what it is in Mac land, and whatever. So basically your digital data that you know where it is, or you think you know where it is, that anyone else would not even know where to start to look, okay? So you need to think about those. And my final statement there is, grab it from all those disparate places and put them into one definitive source of truth, okay? That's my advice to you there. Now, number 9, and we're all adults here, is intimate items. So you need to ask yourself, do you really want your next of kin, or do you want your 10-year-old daughter to find things like sex toys, intimate photos, or interesting magazines and books, okay? And if the answer is no, you don't want your significant other or one of your children to find that, well, I suggest you sort it out sooner rather than later, and it may just be the right thing to destroy those things and have them gone out of your life, so that you're not leaving behind something that's going to be quite challenging for someone else to find. So that's number 9. Now, number 10 is mending fences. So I mended a fence about a week and a half ago, which was a friendship of mine that broke down when I sold out of a business that myself and this person were in together, 50-50. I didn't come away from that, from coming out of that company with a nice taste in my mouth. So I bore a grudge against that person, and I bore that grudge for the last 10 years or so. I only just went and mended that fence about a week and a half ago, and to be honest, I did it because I'm terminal, and being terminal made me think, what do I want to do here? Do I want to take this, these bad feelings to the grave, or do I want to resolve them? And it's a two-way thing, remember? So do I want to take that feeling to the grave? But it's also, do I want to let him carry on after I'm passed away with him not having resolved it? Okay, so it's a two-way thing. So there's mending fences, and I think that's a great idea. So that's number 10. Number 11 is final goodbyes. So for example, I'm really close with my high school group. I went to Mount Lawley Senior High School, and every 5 years we have a reunion. However, I am going to call an extra reunion so that my schoolmates can say goodbye to me. I'm also actively encouraging friends that I haven't seen for a long time to come round and just hang out with me for an hour. Just watch TV, just eat some Doritos, whatever. But come and say hi. Like, I want to see you. I want to have that connection with you because it's been too long since I saw you, okay? So make sure that you have as many of those final goodbyes as you can have. And of course, it doesn't have to be the final one. Maybe you will see them again in a month because you live longer than you expected. And that's nothing but great. But don't let it be nothing. Don't let there be wonderful people from your past that you just decide, they can stay in my past. No, let them come into your present. They deserve to say goodbye to you, and you deserve to say goodbye to them. So please give that some thought. Number 12 is end-of-life legislation in your state or country. I actually did an episode on end-of-life legislation. I'll post the link in the description below. Now, in your case, Jenny, I know that you live in California, and I know that California has some dying with dignity laws. I do not know the details. So my suggestion to you is that you get familiar with the details. So, and I don't want to preempt anything here, and wow, it ain't my decision. It's a decision between you and Kyle as to what you do in those final days. But if you do find yourself a week or 2 weeks away from a definite death, and things are really painful, then you do have laws in California that allow you to mercifully end that pain. And look, I'll keep my opinion to myself on that as to how I feel about it, because this is not about me, it's about you. So look within yourself to see how you feel about things like the Dying with Dignity Act in California, and make sure that you communicate that with Kyle, so that Kyle is under no illusions of what your wishes are. There is nothing ambiguous, that he understands that if he needed to assist you in that process, that he knows exactly what your wishes are. And I suggest you do that now while you are still conscious and able to speak and what have you. It needs to be considered. Number 13 I've got there is organ donation arrangements. So if you feel that organ donation is something that you are passionate about, then please make sure that you are registered as a donor, and your donor registration card is, for example, in the same envelope as your will, so that you know where to find it, and you will find it quickly at the appropriate time. And on the topic of what organs might be okay to donate, given that you've got several cancers, I want to report to you, I also have several cancers. My entire abdomen is infested with cancer. I spoke to a friend of mine that works in palliative care, and I put it to her. I said, would they be able to use any of my body? Like, have I got stuff that would still be good? And in my case, I said, look, there's a fair chance I'm going to take advantage of the voluntary assisted dying legislation in Western Australia, which means I will be taking a lethal cocktail of drugs in order to end my life. Does that exclude me from being an organ donor? And her reply to me was, if you use the voluntary assisted drugs, there will be many of your organs that cannot be harvested, such as your heart and lungs. So yes, there will be some that can't be used. However, there's definitely some that can, and they are in high demand. And the two that she put forward to me at that point was my skin and my eyes. So apparently the skin gets used for burn victims, and the eyes get used to help people's eyesight. And apparently, even if I take I think it's pentobarbital to end my life with voluntary assisted dying, apparently my eyes and my skin will still be able to be donated. And for the record, I am an organ donor, and I feel joy that someone else will have my skin to help them recover from their burns, or someone with poor eyesight can get it a little bit better with my eyes. My eyes aren't perfect, as you can tell. I need glasses for up close work, but my long vision is perfect. And if you're blind and you got one of my eyes, I mean, that's a huge improvement, right? So there's organ donation arrangements. The last one I've got there is funeral arrangements. So please give some thought to all of those things to do with your funeral. So are there some favourite songs that you want to have played? Is there a famous psalm out of the Bible that you want read? Do you want to pre-record something that is played at your funeral? So you as a video logger are quite profoundly able to make videos. Maybe you want to film something to be played at your funeral. I definitely am doing that. And I think it's done right. I think it's cool. You certainly could do it the wrong way, but I think you're smart enough to do it the right way. So that would be something. Other funeral arrangements you might want to think about are, do you want to be buried or cremated? And if so, where would you like your remains to be interred? I would suggest that you give some thought to those things, come up with your answer, and probably best just write them in your will, or put them in a piece of paper that's in with your will. But I certainly think your funeral arrangements need to be known so that Kyle isn't left guessing at when that moment arrives. That's as far as I got with my list so far. There will be more things that occur to me as time goes by, and I dare say that in the comment section of this video there are going to be subscribers that post other ideas that are also really good, and I will be putting them onto my list as well. So Jenny and Kyle, I hope that helps. That's where I've got to with my to-do list, and it was a pleasure to share it with you. I also want you to know that I've been following your channel pretty much for as long as I've been terminal, which is only all of 3 months, but I have been following you, and of course I'm saddened by your recent news. It's also come only a week after the POG family have announced that Sarah POG is terminal and with a brain cancer now, and her time will be soon. So in the last 7 to 10 days, I've had yourself and Sarah POG inform me that you are terminal, and my initial response is, of course, sadness. However, I'm learning over time and learning from speaking with my psychologist that sadness and, in a lot of ways, anger needs to give way to acceptance, that you are going to pass away. And by the way, we all pass away, but you are going to pass away within a year. And you need to mentally accept that it is coming for you. It's also coming for me. I may well still predecease you, and that's not a race either of us wants to be in. I'm just saying, I understand your situation profoundly because I am in a terminal situation myself. So I get it. Okay, that's as far as I got. I won't leave this any longer because I want to get this posted up to you, because I could see from your video update that you're seeking help at the moment, and that is perfectly appropriate. And I believe this list of 14 things is going to give you at least a couple of things that will prompt you into action. I'm going to post a link on Jenny Apple and Kyle Apple's profiles after this. If my subscribers could do me a favour, please comment on Jenny Apple and Kyle Apple's channels a link to this video. Jenny has, I forget the exact number, but it's something like 80,000 subscribers. I've got roughly 9,000 subscribers, and I cannot find comments when I need to, and that means the only way we're going to get this video log in front of Jenny and Kyle Apple's eyes is for many of us to throw the URL to them, and by weight of numbers, eventually they will get to watch it and get this message that I've put out there for them. So thank you for listening to me. I'm going to sign off now, and look, best of luck, Jenny. You're in the same situation as me, so I get it, and we just have to we have to accept what's about to happen, and we need to make good choices. Okay, and of course we need to be kind to one another. So thank you. I hope you get this video, and I hope to have more correspondence with you soon. Thank you from Paul in Perth. See ya.